So many storylines to discuss as we approach spring training. Sounds like it's a perfect time for another Insiders Roundtable. We've got Nick Cafardo, Bob Nightingale, and Richard Justice standing by. Gentlemen, good evening to all three of you. And let me begin, Nick, with this question. What uniform will Cole Hamels be wearing come opening day?
You know, the more I think about this, the more I think he's going to be a Philadelphia Philly come opening day, and then he's going to be a June or July trade chip. You know, he's I don't think there's enough desperate teams out there right now to want to give up their top prospects to go get him. But come June or July, given how they start the season, then desperation sets in, and that's when you go get Cole Hamels and you give up what you have to give up for him.
I think he gets traded before opening day. I think when spring training rolls around, people will see, kind of assess what they have, and then then boom, they got to make a trade. He's one injury away from being traded to a contender. I think he either goes to St. Louis Cardinals or the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, I agree with Bob. I think it's smart now. Well, first of all, I think he's going to be wearing a Phillies uniform on opening day. But I think you were one injury away from creating a real market for Ruben Amaro Jr. Obviously, he hasn't gotten the price he's wanted so far. The other part of this is that Ruben has to make a decision to, hey, we really are in a rebuilding mode, and this is our most valuable asset, and the market is what the market is. So I do think it'll be June or July or one injury.
It's a future trade that Ruben Amaro Jr. has to win, dealing Cole Hamels. Next topic, I'll go back to the top. Nick, start with you. The Washington Nationals land their guy, Max Scherzer. Will they deal Jordan Zimmerman or Steven Strasburg now they get a surplus of starting pitching?
I don't think they trade anybody, really. I mean, you have this uber starting rotation. I mean, I've been picking the Nationals the last 2 years. Hasn't worked out too well for me. But I think, given the rotation the way it is, superstars 1 through 5, I hold on to these guys. If I get off to a bad start, if I'm the Nationals, then I think about trading, a Fister maybe at the trade deadline. But I keep all these guys intact and really go for it this time around.
I'm with Nick, Greg. I would hang on to these guys also. I mean, if you're going to trade someone, you'd probably rather trade Doug Fister, who's also a free agent at the end of the year, just like Zimmerman. I would hate to trade Zimmerman. He's so valuable. Strasburg's got, 2 years left, and he's one of 8 Boras clients in that team. I don't think you want to upset the other clients on that team.
Yeah, I think the Nationals are going to go for it, and that means keeping the whole group together. Having said that, Mike Rizzo is one of those general managers that listens on everything and considers a lot of things. But remember, they want to change the narrative of October, and the best way you do that is have the best starting rotation in baseball.
Well, the Nationals are trying to keep the group together, according to you guys. The Dodgers decided not to do that this offseason. They traded away many members of that 2014 NL West Championship squad. But what about that fourth outfielder, Nick? The highest paid fourth outfielder in the National League, Andre Ethier. Will the Dodgers part ways with him?
I think they keep him. I mean, if they can somehow get him more playing time and get him into more of a routine. Obviously, he doesn't take well coming off the bench or not getting enough at-bats. And, I think that's really part of his problem. I always thought this guy was a really good player. I know he doesn't hit lefties all that well. But when he's in the more normal routine, he's a pretty good hitter and a pretty good player.
Hey, Greg, this guy's probably the highest fourth outfielder in baseball history. He's still got $54.5 million left in his contract. They would rather have traded Ethier or even Carl Crawford than Matt Kemp, but there just wasn't a market.
Andrew Friedman has listened on him the whole offseason and hadn't gotten a price he's comfortable with, so I think he keeps him. And also, remember, Jock Peterson is no sure thing. Carl Crawford's had some health problems, so it's probably in the best interest of the Dodgers, given that you haven't gotten what you wanted, to keep him at this point.
Final topic for the three of you, and it's my favorite. Nick, the most competitive division in baseball is?
I get the feeling it's going to be the AL Central. I mean, you've got Kansas City, you've got the upstart Chicago White Sox, you got the Cleveland Indians, you got the Detroit Tigers, and the Twins aren't going to be, a bad, awful team either. So, yeah, that's my choice.
I'm with Nick also there, Greg. I think that's the only division in baseball where you got 4 teams that have a realistic chance to win first place. You can't count on the Minnesota Twins, but the other teams are right there. Detroit Tigers aren't as good as they were a year ago, not without Scherzer. White Sox picked up a lot of steam. Casey has a confidence. And you talk to a lot of GMs and talent evaluators in the game. They said Cleveland Indians might be the biggest sleeper of them all.
Yeah, with respect to the National League Central and the American League Central, I'm still sticking with the American League East. I think you could probably make a case for all 5 teams there. Obviously, it's easier to make a case for the Red Sox or Blue Jays. I love what the Rays have done. It's going to be fascinating to see how they evolve. And the Orioles love being picked last. They just love it. And then there are the Yankees. So I'm sticking with the American League East.
New GM, new manager. Richard Justice still likes what the Rays have done. You're the eternal optimist, Richard. Great stuff. Nick Confardo, Bob Nightingale, and Richard Justice. Guys, thanks. It was fun.